Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event, Smarter Trading with Self-Aware and Auto-Optimizing Indicators. My name is Juanita, and I am the NinjaTrader ecosystem representative here in the NinjaTrader Denver office. Before we start our webinar, I do have a few housekeeping items that I'd like to go over with you today. This webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be sent directly to the NinjaTrader brokerage using the phone number or the email that I did just place in the room. Lastly, if you are new to NinjaTrader, please make sure to sign up for a free NinjaTrader demo with real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. Before I do turn the mic over to Daniel, it's important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risk and is not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose all or more funds than your initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Also, please remember that these training sessions are not a solicitation nor a recommendation, but simply educational in nature. Thank you again for joining us, and without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room, Daniel. Go ahead and take it away, Daniel.
Yes, hi, thank you so much for the great introduction, and welcome everyone to this exciting webinar. I'm super excited because today, for the very first time, I get to showcase our latest generation of our products for NinjaTrader. So first time, we just finished it very recently, and today is the time to present it to all of you. So I'm super excited. So let me go ahead and share my screen. My name is Daniel Sennick, and today's presentation is called Smarter Trading with Self-Aware and Auto-Optimizing Indicators. I know it's a mouthful, but we're going to tackle this title and discover what it means together in this session. But before I start, I'd like to use a small analogy from the world of poker. I'm sure most of you have seen a broadcast like this or similar like this, where a poker hand is being played. In this particular hand, 2 players are left in the hand and 4 cards have been dealt. The 5th card, however, has not been dealt yet. And before this card is being dealt, each player has the chance to wager. Depending on how confident he is to win this hand, he will either wager more or less. What we can also see here are the success or percentages or odds for each player. So player number 1 has success odds of 80% and the other one 20%. But this information is only shown to the viewers on TV or on the internet. The players themselves do not know what these odds are, for the very simple reason because they don't know what the other players' cards are. But let's just imagine for a second that we are a fraud, and for some reason we know, or I know, what the other players' cards are. And in this case, I would be able to calculate the odds. And imagine, what if this was possible? How would you play poker? Well, I guess it's quite easy. You would only wager when the odds are in your favor, and you would wager less or fold altogether when the odds are against you. And in the long run, you would definitely win the poker tournament. It doesn't mean you would win the next hand, but in the long run, because the odds will be in your favor, this will give you a statistical advantage. And what we researched over the last years, is this possible to apply the same concept to the world of trading? So for example, is it possible to calculate the odds of your next trade before you enter this trade? And if this was possible, what would you do? So imagine you would know these odds before you enter the trade. And of course, you would do the same thing as the poker player. You would only engage into the trade if the odds are in your favor. And if not, you would not take the trade. And oftentimes, not taking the trade is the best trading advice that you can get. All right, so this is the topic of today's presentation, and we have actually developed a set of self-aware indicators which apply this very same concept to the market. They will estimate, based on their intelligence, what the odds are for your next trade before you enter this trade. All right, so we're going to discover together what that means. Now, before I get into this, just a few words about myself. As mentioned before, my name is Daniel Sinnick. I guess my CV or my, my experience is just a bit different from most trading educators that you may hear on this NinjaTrader ecosystem webinars. I'm actually a software engineer by training, and for the longest part of my career, my objective was to become a professor in software engineering. And in fact, I taught over the years many classes in this area from software design, programming, software requirements, architecture, and so forth, and at various universities, and I even have a Rate Your Professor profile. So if you're interested, you can go to Rate My Professor. That's a website where students can rank their teachers. And if you're interested, you can Google for my name, and you will see my profile there. But even while I was teaching back at university, I was always fascinated by trading. And I was trading on the side. And of course, when I started off, I made all the mistakes that everybody else does in the beginning, or most people do. I overtraded. I took too much risk. I revenge traded. I let my losers run too long. You name it, I have done it. And after donating quite a fair share to the market, I took a hard look into the mirror and I realized, wow, trading is hard and I need help. And being a software engineer, needing help meant for me, I need better tools that support me in my trading. This is really how the story behind tradingindicators.com, my company or our company, started. Most of the tools that we offer at tradingindicators.com, which is our online store for trading software, and most of these tools have been first developed for our own needs, for our own trading. And only then, once we found them useful for our own trading, we published them for the world. Now, I initially started trading indicators, but now we have a full team. We have software engineers on board. We have software designers, user experience designers. We have traders, mathematicians on board. And altogether, we build intelligent trading tools, which hopefully will make a difference in your trading. So I invite you to check out our site, which is tradingindicators.com. And on there, you can find lots of indicators. Some of them I will present today. We also develop dashboards, smart trading apps, fully automated strategies, trading scanners, and so forth. So I invite you to perhaps check out our site, which is tradingindicators.com. And before I start really getting into the weeds of this presentation, if you have any questions, please write them into the chat window. My colleagues, my partner Homa and Nicola, they're both there. They will be manning the chat and they will answer your questions and perhaps bring them to my attention should this be pertinent. So please don't be shy and write your questions into the chat window. Now, let's go back to the topic at hand. So the first thing that we investigated over the last years, is it possible to pre-calculate the odds of your next trade? So, and we came up with a technology which will calculate some odds, which we call the IET technology, which stands for Instant Efficiency Technology. And what this does is it will present to you directly on the price chart the historical success rates of your long entry signals and your short entry signals. So in this case, you can see here, for example, that for this particular indicator, the long success rate was at 91%, and for short trades, it was at 87.5%. And the way this works is that these success statistics are based or calculated based on historical data, the data available on your chart and given for the given look back period, in this case from August 29th, 2022. And for this look back period, it will take into account every single signal and evaluate whether the signal was a winner or a loser. And based on this, these statistics are being calculated. And basically what this does, it's an instant or real-time backtest performed directly on the chart. There's no need to create, a strategy and backtest it. It's done automatically for you directly on the chart. And we distinguish between long and short trades. So this is our IET technology. But there's still another question we need to answer, which is, wow, how useful are these statistics actually? Because they're based on historical data. And we know it from every single disclaimer that's being read, including the one from Ninja, is that historical backtest results are not necessarily indicative for future results. So the question now is, are these really useful? Because these are backtest statistics based on historical price data. And we came to the conclusion, I'm going to show you some evidence of this in a second, that yes, these odds, these success rates are indeed very useful because they will allow you, and we'll see this together in this webinar, to make truly informed trading decisions and only trade when the odds are stacked in your favor. So when the odds are high, you perhaps will consider a signal generated by one of our indicators, and when the odds are not in your favor, you will skip the signal. As I said before, sometimes skipping a trade is the best trading advice that you can get. Now, I promised you some evidence why we believe that these odds based on historical data are useful. We have conducted a very comprehensive back test earlier this year, where we back tested a swing trading system on the hourly chart starting from January 2022. We not only chose one symbol, we chose 84 different symbols, in fact, 84 big US stocks such as Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, and so forth. And the average trade duration was about 1 week. So it's a typical swing trading setup. And over the back test period, 6,827 entry signals, both long and short, were generated. And what you can see now here is the performance of the system. Well, had we taken all these 6,827 trades, does not look too good. You probably would agree with me. This is not very promising or enticing. But this is the performance if every single trade would have been taken. So then what we did is we ran our back test. But in this case, we only took the signals where the statistical odds calculated based on the historical data were actually in our favor. And this is the performance which was generated by this setup, where we only took what we call the sweet spot trades, where the odds were actually in our favor. It's a difference of day and night. And just to be clear, we did not cheat in this back test. We actually were considering the odds at the time of the signal, not at the very end when we knew them already. No, at the time of the signal, we looked at what the odds were. Then if the odds were in our favor, we took the trade. If they were not in our favor, we rejected the trade. So this meant we only took roughly 1/3 of the trades, but you can see the performance significantly increased over this back test period. And this gave us some very strong conviction and confidence that, well, we were on the right path. And let's continue with the development of our indicators, which will present to you the odds directly on the chart and which will give you the ammunition that you need to make intelligent trading decisions before you enter the trade. So you'd only trade when the odds are in your favor and not if the odds are not in your favor. And we packaged up these indicators as what we call our Power Bundle 360. It's a set of 3 intelligent indicators. Why 3? Well, because we try to cover each market condition. So we have one indicator for the trending market, one indicator for spotting reversals or pullbacks, and one indicator for spotting strong breakouts from a sideways market. By doing so, we thought, well, we cover every single aspect of the market, but perhaps also we cover every single type of trader. Some traders are more trend followers, others are more reversal traders, others trade more breakouts. So by having a comprehensive set of tools, we thought, well, we cover everything that we need to cover. So what are these 3 indicators? The first one is called 1, 2, 3 strike, which is our trend following indicator, and it will generate an entry signal right on the chart if a strong trend is detected. And it does so by looking at 3 dimensions, which is directionality, volatility, and volume. And if all 3 factors come together, an entry signal is generated. The second indicator is called divergence cloud. And as the name suggests, it's based on divergence, which is a telltale sign for potential trend reversals or pullbacks. And we base this indicator on a novel form of divergence, which is called volatility divergence. It's actually a form of divergence which we have developed in our lab, and it's proprietary to our research. So this is divergence cloud for spotting reversals and pullbacks. And the third indicator is called volatility crusher. And it is an indicator designed to detect strong breakouts. And we define a strong breakout as a breakout which lasts for quite some time. So when the breakout occurs, chances are that price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time. And this is something that we as traders can take advantage of by simply entering in the direction of the breakout. Now, enough theory, enough talking. Let's have a look at some charts, shall we? So let me quickly switch over to my NinjaTrader installation and drag the chart into this Zoom window. And what do we have here? Here we have a chart, a 60-minute chart of the S&P E-mini futures. And applied to this particular chart is our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. So let me quickly explain to you how this indicator works in principle. So these bigger green triangles, as you can see here, these are long entry signals. And the bigger red ones are short entry signals, as you can see here. Okay. In addition to each entry signal, the indicator also suggests to you some exit or partial exit suggestions, which are denoted by these little white triangles, as you can see here. So here we had a short entry, and we had 1, 2, 3 partial exits. And we thought this is very important because, entering into a trade is only really one half of the story. Once you're in a trade, you need to manage it, and you need to eventually close out the trade. This is why all our indicators, all 3 of them, come with exit suggestions. So these are the exit for a short trade, for example. And here we have a long entry signal with 2 exits. And we can see here, for example, that even today, after the big move this morning, we had an entry signal to the long side, and we already booked some partial profits just an hour ago for this symbol for the S&P E-mini futures. And I should also mention that everything you see here, the appearance, the number of exits that should be taken, and so forth, can be customized by the users. So if you prefer to take maybe 4 or 5 or 6 partial exits, you can use or set the indicator accordingly with its parameters. All right, so what you can also see here on this chart is this little widget here. So you can see it here, and you can even drag it around like me. It's directly on the chart, but dragging around doesn't really do much. What you can do actually is you can click on it. And once you click on it, it opens up and you can see something. You can see now directly on the chart what are the historical success rates for long trades and for short trades for a given look back period. In this case, the look back period started on May 14th, 2022. So as I mentioned before, this is basically an instant back test performed directly on the chart. All right, so you can see here, for example, that long trades have been working out better than short trades. So short trades at around 48% and long trades at around 60%. Now you can also see this little arrow to the downside. So I can click on it again. And once I click on it, this window becomes a little bit bigger. I can still drag it around, but you can also see the parameter settings that were used for this indicator to generate these signals on the chart. So for example, we have an indicator, a parameter called volatility period, which is currently set at 7, or volume period, which is set at 34. Now, the cool thing is, in order to change these parameters, you no longer need to go to the parameters in NinjaTrader, which is quite tedious. You would have to click here, and this would open up a new window in NinjaTrader. Then you would have to change the parameters, click OK again, and so forth. This is no longer needed. You can simply adjust these parameters by dragging these sliders, and observe what happens when I do this. So as soon as I move these things around, things on the chart happen. And in addition, also our statistics update instantaneously. Look at this. I just drag these around, and we can see just by dragging that, we get significantly better statistics, which is very convenient for you to find the best settings of this indicator for the chart at hand. In this case, the S&P E-mini chart on the 60-minute time frame. And I can do this with every single parameter on the chart to find the best settings, because things will update immediately, both on the chart, but also for the back test statistics. All right, so this is 1, 2, 3 strike. Well, let's move on to our second indicator, which is called divergence cloud. And here I have loaded divergence cloud to a chart of Apple on the 15-minute time frame. And throughout this demo, I'm going to showcase various symbols from different asset classes, just to show you that our indicators, they work on all kinds of assets, futures, equities, ETFs, currencies, cryptos, and so forth. But they also work on every time frame. In this case, it's again a 15-minute chart. but also on every chart type, even on Renko charts or range bar charts. So here we have divergence cloud applied to the chart. And the first thing you probably see is this little coloring behind the price bars, which is either greenish or a bit reddish. These colors denote divergence. If the color is greenish, as you may guess, it denotes bullish divergence. And if the color is reddish, it denotes bearish divergence. And many traders use divergence cloud simply because of these colorings here, and they use it as an additional filter for their own trading system. For example, they would only take a long trade if the cloud color at the same time is also greenish, or only take a short trade when the cloud color is also at the same time reddish. In addition to the cloud color, however, divergence cloud also comes with its own entry and exit signals. And similar to 1, 2, 3 strike, we can see here that the greenish or the bigger greenish triangles are long entries, and the bigger reddish triangles are short entries. And just like 1, 2, 3 strike, we also suggest partial exits along the way. So here we have a short entry, first exit here, a second exit here. Here, for example, we had a long entry with 1, 2, 3, 4 partial exits. And even today on the Apple chart, we had a long entry signal, which worked out quite well so far, but no exits have been generated so far. And of course, as you know already, we have this little widget here again, which you can drag around and click on it. And once clicked on it, you can see directly on the price chart how well the indicator has been working out for this particular symbol and time frame. And again, if I expand it, I see all the parameters, in this case for divergence cloud, and I can play around with them to see if I can improve my odds by moving things around. So you can see here, yes, some simple parameter changes will significantly improve how the indicator is performing. And for you as a trader, this is a very easy and fast way to dial in this indicator to a particular symbol or time frame. And of course, once you get an entry signal, you would consult your statistics, and if they are in your favor, if they're high enough, if they're above your threshold, which you will set for yourself, then you would follow this entry signal. And if they are not, you would ignore it. It's as simple as that. All right, so this was divergence cloud applied to Apple on the 15-minute time frame. Just one more example here. We have the same indicator, again, divergence cloud applied to a daily chart of Apple. Just to showcase to you that, yes, our indicators, they work on all kinds of time frames. So whether you are a day trader, a swing trader, or an investor, you can use these indicators. And again, our statistics will also work on every single time frame. One interesting thing we can see here, which perhaps is not very surprising, is that for Apple, the long efficiency is much higher than the short efficiency. It's not very surprising because Apple has been an uptrend for most of the last 10 years, and naturally long signals, if you're more of an investor, would work out better than short ones. So for Apple, it was clearly obvious, but for some signals, it's not as obvious. But for you, knowing whether long signals work better than short ones or vice versa is very important, because, you know, how would you deal with it? Well, you would focus only in this case on the long entry signals because they've been working out better, and ignore the short ones. And again, avoiding a trade, as mentioned before, can be the best trade advice that you can get. Now let's move on. One more indicator, which is called volatility crusher. That's actually my personal favorite indicator of all of them, because it's quite selective, but it gives you very high statistics in terms of success rate, which is our breakout indicator. He applied to the NASDAQ E-mini futures on the 10-minute time frame. And this is the indicator applied just out of the box. I didn't change any of the parameters. And you can see here that the long efficiency just out of the box was at 94% and short efficiency at 72%. So this fits my trading style. Of course, I should admit that for this indicator, the profit targets are a bit closer than the stop loss, so you would need to have higher statistics. For 1, 2, 3 strike and divergence cloud, it's a bit of the opposite. Typically, our winners are bigger than the losers, so even with statistics of around 50%, you can be profitable. But with volatility crusher, you would like to see statistics well above 65, 70%, which is the case here for both the long and short direction. And the way this indicator works is a little bit different. You again have your entry signals here. This is a long entry signal because we have an upward facing triangle. But once we have an entry, right when the entry happens, we also know where our two profit targets, which are denoted by these two lines here, and where's our stop loss, which is this red line here. And the stop loss is a bit particular. It's a trading stop. You can see here, as our trade progresses in the direction that we want, the trading stop is being tightened to lock in profit. So here we had a long entry signal, which worked out quite nice. It hit both targets. Here again, a long entry signal, it hit both targets. Let me see if I have something else. Here, another big long, which hit both targets. Let me just maybe go back a little bit. Perhaps you can find a short signal as well. Here we had a short signal, or two short signals, or actually three, which all three also hit their targets. And you can see here, just by getting a feel for this indicator, it is an indicator which has a very good success rate. And for me personally, it just fits my trading style, which I like to have multiple winners in a row. Just makes me feel good inside, and it's an indicator that fits my trading style, and this is why it's my favorite personally. But again, it comes also with the built-in statistics. Now, let me quickly go back to the charts, because there's something else I need to share with you. So first of all, hopefully you saw, or I was able to showcase to you that with these statistics, it is, first of all, very easy to make an informed trading decision. You would only trade when the odds are in your favor, and if not, you would not trade. But the statistics on the chart, they're also very useful for finding the best parameters to use for a particular indicator. And these will change from time frame to time frame, and these will change and alter from symbol to symbol. But I tell you what, finding the best parameters, even with our convenience sliders, can be quite challenging, even for the most experienced traders and investors. And on top of all this, if you change time frame or symbol, always having to play around with the sliders to find the best odds, that's also super tedious. And your trading is time sensitive. You want to want to be able to find the best parameters right away without fiddling around with those manually and perhaps second guessing yourself. So this is why we actually elevated our indicators to the next level. As of today, available for NinjaTrader, we have integrate an auto optimization feature directly into our indicators, which will find the best configuration in terms of parameters automatically for you. It basically does all the heavy lifting for you, so you do not have to do it. You don't have to fiddle around with the parameters yourself. As you can imagine, this can be quite a convenient feature to have, because, well, if it makes your life easier, you probably will also make better trading decisions, because you have to spend less energy on things which are taken care of you from now on. So shall we have a look how this works with the POWERBUNDLE 360? Let's do it. So back to the charts. So back to my Ninja chart, and let me go back to the very first example that we found here. This is 1, 2, 3 strike applied to the 60-minute chart. Now, some of you may have already noticed this little button on the top left here, which is called Optimize. So that's a button, and that's the button, so I can click on it. So let me do this, and please have a look at the long and short efficiency statistics here. So I'm going to click on it, and immediately, once I click on it, everything will change. So first of all, the appearance on the chart changed. We now have different entry signals for the long and short direction. The settings for our parameters have changed, so they moved around. The slides are now at different positions, and also our statistics have updated. And why is that? Because with this optimization feature, what the indicator did internally, in just a few milliseconds in this case, was to try out different combinations of these parameters to find the winning combination where the signals have been working out the best. This is what you can see here. And we have 3 different modes built into optimization. So if you have this little drop down here, you can see it. We have simplified, which tries out roughly 150 combinations. We have standard, which tries out around 1,000 combinations, and we have exhaustive, which is the the most comprehensive one, which tries out way beyond 1,000 combinations for our parameters. And of course, the more exhaustive it is, the longer it will take to try out all these different combinations. So let me perhaps choose standard. So we had 144 tests. Now with standard, I click on it. It will now take a little bit longer because the indicator again will internally calculate. Oh, I have to click optimize too, of course. So the indicator will now internally calculate all these different combinations to come up with the one that gives us the best odds, historically speaking. So it's finished now. We went through 1,056 combinations, and here we can see our long and short efficiency, which now has increased to 74% to the long side and 75% to the short side. And the result you can see here on the chart. You can see how these signals would have worked out historically speaking. And the hope is, of course, that if they worked out in the past, they will continue to work out in the future. Now, of course, this not only works for 1, 2, 3 strike, it also works for our other indicators. So here we have divergence cloud. So again, let me click on optimize. And again, it will find the best settings for us. In this case, we have increased long efficiency to 70.83% and short efficiency to 92%, which is for divergence cloud on Apple on the 15-minute chart. In some cases, let me open a completely different chart. Here we have, what do we have? We have volatility crusher on Meta, formerly Facebook. And we can see here, well, if you just scroll through it, we can see, or just by looking at the statistics, that for the long side, at least, our statistics were only at 33%. So we had a strong bias towards the short side, which was at 71%. But this was with our standard settings, which were not optimized. And the way this optimization works, it will always try to find out the best average statistics, so long and short trades taken together. This is by default. But it doesn't have to be like this. So let me switch over to another example. Here we have, what do we have here? We have Goldman Sachs on the daily time frame. And again, we have, we can see here that our long efficiency is at 84% and short efficiency is at 65%. But perhaps I'm an investor. I'm only interested in going long for equities. I don't do any short trades. Maybe my account type doesn't allow it even. So for this case, I'm not really interested actually what my short efficiency is because I can't trade short anyways. So we built in another parameter, which is called trading style, where you can indicate in which directions you want to trade. So by default, it's set to long and short, both directions, but you can set to long only or short only. And once you do this, let me click long only. You will see not only just the long only signals, but the optimization will only optimize for the long direction, which is very useful. So I click optimize here, and the result will be an optimization performed for the long direction. And we can see here that our efficiency has increased from 84%, which was already pretty good, to 85% now for volatility crusher. And yeah, this is basically how you can adapt the indicator to your trading style. So whether you only want to trade long, or perhaps you only want to trade short for some reason, you can choose it and you can optimize based on your trading style. And one more thing I'd like to mention before I go back to the chart is this little checkbox here, optimize on load. What does this mean? So it means when checked, so once checked like this, and you change time frame or you change symbol, automatically, let me just change some time frame perhaps to 15 minutes, automatically the new optimized settings will be used for this particular time frame, which are not going to be the same as the ones before. So if this is checked, the indicator will automatically apply the optimal settings right off the bat. Okay, so based on the trading style that you've selected. So here we have the 50-minute time frame, and we can see here that our long efficiency has been at 77.78%. You can see here, this is quite evident because the indicator was able to catch many of these nice long trades along the way. All right. So let me go back to the charts and let me ask you a question.
I have a couple of questions here. Can we answer them before you move on? Okay,
yeah,
great.
Of course.
One question is, how often should I optimize?
Yeah, so you will only get different results when the optimization is performed if there are new trade information available. So it wouldn't make a difference whether you, in this case, for example, if you optimize, 10 bars ago or 20 bars ago or 30 bars ago, the results would have been the same because there are no new trades. So I would, as a rule of thumb, what I do internally, I try to click on this button every 100 bars or so, give or take. Okay. 100
Great.
to 200 bars.
Okay. And another question is, how do you avoid over optimizing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I get this all the time. And you've done a lot of research on this topic. And here's what I believe this is, well, we have two reasons for this. The first one is we have performed what's called a forward test. A forward test is basically, we figure out what the optimal settings are, let's say in this case, let's say on November 1st. So we come up with some settings which were optimal for November 1st. And then what we did is we applied these settings moving forward to see if the future performance, from November 1st, matches more or less the performance before this. And our results were very encouraging that they were quite similar. So we don't believe there's curve fitting in play. Another reason why I think that this is not so much prone to curve fitting is because we're only looking at the success rates. We don't look at things like profit factor or P&L or something like this, which then it's quite easy to to avoid trades which were big losers just by chance, and maybe include the ones which were big winners. We don't care about this. We don't distinguish between size of winners or losers for our back test. And I think this can be even an advantage because it will avoid curve fitting to some extent, because it doesn't give us any incentive, or doesn't give the indicator any incentive to cut off a big loser. Because a big loser would be just treated the same as a small loser in that sense.
Okay,
any other questions?
Yeah, just one last one. And maybe for those that don't know about our Super Trend Bullseye, that's one of our other very popular indicators that's on our site. Somebody wants to know, one of our users wants to know if the Super Trend Bullseye has an auto re-optimization feature.
Yes, it does actually. So yeah, it's not the topic of this presentation, but yeah, we have included this for NinjaTrader and for other platforms as well. Okay, so let me go back to my slides real quick. As you can see here, that all our indicators that I've shown you, they come with clear entry and exit signals. So they not only tell you when to enter into a trade, but also when to exit from it. They run on every time frame, any asset class, or any chart type even. So whatever your trading style is, whether you are an investor, a day trader, or a swing trader, you can take advantage of these indicators. Real-time statistics are included for each of these indicators. And now with our latest generation just released literally today, we also provide or support auto optimization, which will find the best parameters automatically for you. Now, we believe that we have pretty much maxed out or pushed NinjaTrader to the limit of what is possible with NinjaTrader. Not only with the widget on the chart, but also what the indicator does in terms of automatically optimizing the parameters for you. So really, our indicators are built for NinjaTrader. We support other platforms too, but they run particularly well for NinjaTrader. So each of our indicators has the entry and exit signals. As mentioned, they have the statistics. We have all these innovative innovations like the glowing cloud color and so forth. And of course, all our indicators, they work with other NinjaTrader tools, such as the market analyzer or the strategy builder. So here's an example of how, this is from this morning, how I use the market analyzer to scan for buy entries based on my volatility crusher. So here we had an entry at Goldman Sachs, the one we actually saw on the daily time frame, and in fact it was there as well. And the way the scanning actually works is that the scan is performed based on what the indicator thinks the optimal settings are. So normally a scan is performed with the same settings for every single symbol, but not in this case. We actually use the optimal settings for every single symbol, which can be quite different from symbol to symbol. So this is quite revolutionary because always the optimal settings will be used. Now, if you're wondering, who are these indicators for? Well, I believe anyone, any trader or investor who believes in the use of intelligent tools to help making better trading decisions. I believe these indicators are quite intelligent. We put our research power over the last years into it in the hope that they will help you make better trading decisions. Any trader who wants to have an easier life should also be considering these indicators, because auto optimization is all about getting the heavy lifting done for you so you don't have to do it, so you can focus on your trading. And of course, anyone who wants to get better portfolio results or better trading results should be considering these indicators. Now, we have put together a special offer for you just for today, because it's very limited, because we are going to move very soon, probably in a couple of days, to a subscription model. But only, and for the last time, we're going to offer lifetime access to our indicators, which basically means you pay now the fee for the indicator, and that's it. There will be no other charges ever again for you. Now, this will include all the auto optimization, which I've shown you. It will include all the statistics, which you've seen. It will include 1-2-3 strike for trend trading, divergence cloud for trading reverses or pullbacks, and volatility crusher for trading breakouts. And in addition to all this, we also will offer to you a whole bunch of training goodies. And of course, we understand it's a high price tag. There is a 7-day money back guarantee. Now, if you want to take advantage of this, simply go to our homepage, which is tradingindicators.com/ninja. This will get you to a product page with lots of more information about these indicators, and you can take advantage of these offers. As mentioned before, this is going to be pretty much the last time we're offering these indicators for life, as we are moving to a subscription model. Now, I mentioned there are also some goodies included. What are these goodies? Well, we're going to throw in our ebook on trading with divergence, or predicting market moves with divergence. And this is all based on this innovative form of divergence, which is used by Divergence Cloud. So our own proprietary form that we researched over the last 2 years. If you want to know all about it, check out this ebook, which we include in this package. You will also get access to our masterclass on demand, which is a 5-hour masterclass where you're going to learn the ins and outs of every single indicator. I didn't have time today to go through all the parameters and what they do and why they do what they do. In this masterclass, you will know and learn all about it to really get the most out of these indicators. That's 5 hours of teaching material. And of course, you will be enrolled into our tech talks, where we're going to discuss every week or every second week on Thursdays at 6 p.m. So next Thursday at 6 p.m., we're going to have our next tech talks. We're going to teach you everything you need to know about how to use the indicators in a live session. You can ask questions during this live session. We're going to go through plenty of examples. We're going to give you practical tricks, everything you need to know about our indicators and the Power Bundle 360. So all these come with the package if you commit to it today. Now, some of you may already have an earlier version of the Power Bundle. Please contact us if that's the case. There are upgrade options to the auto optimization version. So just simply write us an email at info@tradingindicators.com. Now, with this being said, Homer, are there any other questions?
Yes, there are a bunch of questions. Nicola's doing a great job going through all of them. Just give me 1 second to go back.
Yeah, and while Homer is going back, if you can cover your question right now today, simply contact us at tradingindicators.com. Go to our homepage. There's a contact form there. We're going to look at every single contact request. We love user feedback, constructive or encouraging, whatever it is. Please send us a message, and we're going to answer all your messages there as well. But yeah, Homer, what do we have?
So I know Michael got one of his questions answered, but I'll ask this one live. He's not clear how the software is predictive at any given bar during trading hours. How do I decide what bar I enter or exit? Oh,
it will give you a signal on that bar. So these indicators, they do not repaint. So you're going to get an entry signal, and that's it. It will not change its minds afterwards. So basically, the way you would trade with our indicators is you would wait for an entry signal to happen. Once this happens, and you can scan for it too, so you don't have to, go through all the charts manually. You can scan for it. But once there's an entry signal for a given symbol on a given time frame, you will then check out the statistics, and if you like them, you would consider taking the trade. the stats are against you or not as good as you want, you will avoid the trade.
Okay, and there's a few users that are wondering about the version that has super signals. So just to clarify that, that's different from this version. That version has super signals that are added onto the auto optimized Power Bundle 360 indicators. But Daniel, those won't be ready for NinjaTrader for still a couple of weeks. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. We have released super signals for TradingView just a couple of weeks ago. What I presented today was not the same thing, but we are planning to do so for NinjaTrader in a couple of weeks, perhaps a month. And of course, you will be all be notified once this is the case.
And what we do suggest is if you did want to lock in the lifetime access, if you do purchase the special today, then there's simply another fee to add the super signals. You don't need to purchase that package when it's ready. We'll just let you know, and we'll announce them during our tech talks as well.
Yes, that's right. So, and again, for everyone who already has access to the Power Bundle, you don't have to buy this package outright. There's an upgrade fee required. All right. So again, if you want to take advantage of our offer, again, it's going to go away because we're moving to a subscription fee. I know this is sometimes not very popular because, you know, nobody likes to keep paying, but we need to do it because we are growing. Our user base has substantially grown over the years, and we really want to help every single trader give as much support as we can. But this is, of course, only possible if we have the resources to do so. So that is why we are moving to a subscription fee. But again, for perhaps another week or so, the lifetime access for our indicators will be available. And once we're set up for subscription, we're going to move towards that model. But for now, you can still take advantage of the lifetime option.
Daniel, we still do have some questions again about the super signal. So maybe you can explain to the audience how that works and how it's different from the package today.
Yeah, it's also based on our 3 indicators: 1 to 3 strike, divergence, and volatility crusher. But what super signals do, they look for confluence. Basically, when all 3 indicators, for example, give you a signal in the same direction around the same time. So this gives even stronger conviction that this is going to be a successful signal. And this is what we call a super signal. It's based on confluence. Again, it's going to come for NinjaTrader, but this offer here is for the Power Bundle with auto optimization. It does not yet include the super signals, but once super signals are available and you have this package there, you can simply upgrade to the super signals as well. Any other questions, Homa?
We have lots of questions, but like I said, Nicola's done a great job going through them. So we've answered almost all of them. There is one that just came in from Joseph. His question is, can I reverse engineer the statistics? Meaning, can I tell the program to optimize for 80% success on long and have the program change the parameters?
That's a good idea. Right now, it's not possible. You would so if you're looking for 80%, you would need to use the sliders if you really want to, you know, get to exactly this value. The auto optimization would just find you the highest statistics, which is either the combination of both long and short, or if you have a bias towards a trading direction like long only or short only, it will optimize for this trading direction. But it's a good idea. So some things perhaps for the future. And again, I should mention is that so this is the 3rd generation of our Power Bundle. And most of the features that we've integrated, they actually came from feedback from our users, because our users are using our indicators and they have suggestions, and we always listen. And it's awesome because, first of all, we see that users are actually taking advantage of our indicators, which is very encouraging. But we're also getting great feedback of how we can further improve them. And what we do is we compile all this feedback into a to-do list, which we maintain internally. And then if it's doable, and if we have the resources, we will integrate these enhancements for the future. And I should also mention that this lifetime access will include all future updates for this product generation. So if there are bugs, for sure, we will fix them, obviously. But also if there are improvements for this generation, as you said, perhaps optimized for 80% or something similar, we will include this free of charge for anyone who buys now if you have lifetime access.
Daniel, John wants to know how much computing power is needed to run the software.
Not too much. So just to give you an example, I ran Ninja right now on my small little laptop, which I typically use for traveling. It's already 3 years old, so it runs fast. So you shouldn't worry about this. If you had a newer computer, I know Nicholas today on his developed machine, he ran these stats were even faster, but even for me, it's quite fast. If you use the exhaustive option, you have to wait a few seconds. But that's because, there's so many things going on. Just like when you run a back test in NinjaTrader using the strategy tester, you have to wait a bit. So it's the same here. But sometimes waiting is just totally worthwhile because you're going to get the very best settings for that indicator. Anything else, Holmes?
Steve wants to know, does the alert, I'm assuming they mean the signal, come up at the end of a bar or during a bar?
Both. It depends how you configure the indicator. If you configure it to work on every tick, it can come up intra-bar, but then it might still be paying for this bar if the bar price changes drastically. Typically, I ran it on bar close, which generates the signal once the bar is closed and finalized, and then it will never repaint again. So this is how I ran it today. And I would suggest running it this way because that way it's a confirmed signal when the bar closes.
Okay, so we've been
yeah, and Holmes,
Go
maybe
ahead,
just
Dan.
real quick, all these questions, they're amazing questions. We're going to cover all of them. We're going to spend a lot of time. How to set up your scanner, how to create strategies based on the Power Bundle, like automated strategies, how to choose the right settings in terms of on-bar close on every tick and so forth. All these will be covered in our tech talks, which we'll have the first one next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So don't worry, if your question doesn't get answers, we're going to answer it. Then we're going to spend a lot of more time to answer all these questions.
And if you're not already on our mailing list, please go to our website, click on join. If you click our mailing list, you'll get all the emails about announcing when our tech talks are and at what time. Usually they're every second Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. And Daniel, we've been asked by NinjaTrader just to close it off because I think we've gone over. So anyone that has any questions that we haven't gotten to, please email us and we'll definitely get back to you at info@tradingindicators.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, I've been taking a bit too much time, but I hope it was worthwhile. Thank you so much for listening. I know your time is precious. I hope you get something out of it today. And if you have any questions, as Homer said, contact us. We're always happy to hear from any one of you. All right, with this, to everyone, have a good night or a good evening or a good morning, wherever you are, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, tradingindicators.com, for taking the time to share with us today. If you enjoyed today's session, we hope to see you in future events. We'd like to remind you that information provided in this was that of tradingindicators.com and not of NinjaTrader. All information is for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see everyone in future webinars. Happy trading from everyone here at the NinjaTrader ecosystem. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Homa. We really appreciate having you in the room and for having such a wonderful event. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.